Hey profs, welcome back to ClubChat. I'm your host, Kynedy Williams, and my co-host, Kaitlyn, isn't feeling well today. Not to worry though, I'll be hosting the podcast solo. This is ClubChat. Today, for our 9th episode, we have the privilege of sitting down with the Vice President of 3D Printing Club, Mackenzie Kaiser.
Hi.
Mackenzie, a sophomore here at Rowan University, is a computer science major. So, welcome to ClubChat.
Hi. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. So, can you please tell us a little bit more about yourself?
So, like you said, I'm a sophomore. I've been doing 3D printing for almost 6 years. I'm also in the marching band here, and I also like playing video games. And other than that, I just watch YouTube and stuff.
Cool. Wait, what instrument do you play?
I play the trumpet.
Okay, I used to play clarinet.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I used to be a band kid, y'all. So, can you tell us a little bit more about your role as the Vice President of 3D Printing Club, and what does that entail?
I consider myself the right-hand man of the president, so whatever our president, Andrew, doesn't want to do, he usually gives it to me, so I usually help with the slides, make sure the event coordinators get the slides done for our meetings. I make sure our technicians are working well, and every week I have to make the poster for each meeting that we do.
Okay. How often does the club hold general meetings, and what do they typically consist of?
We hold meetings every 2 weeks, and they're usually workshops where we teach everyone how to 3D design a 3D print. Sometimes we do competitions, and we usually have food and everything for everyone. What else? And sometimes we watch movies. I'd say it's very chill. We just like to teach everyone how to do 3D printing.
Right. So what's the process like for brainstorming and executing a new 3D printing object?
Well, first you have to think of an object. Usually you can make one, but if you don't have the materials to make it, like we use Onshape usually at our club to design stuff, you can actually find stuff online for free. Thingiverse is a very good introduction. Everything's free on there, and you download it onto your computer, and you add it to a thing called a slicer, where you download the model, it slices it layer by layer, and then you send it to your 3D printer, and it'll start printing.
Okay, so how do you guys pick what object or what shape or character to
Whatever we want.
Whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Is it based on the movies that you guys watch?
Well, I say for our pumpkin design competition, we got to design pumpkins, so that's what we printed. We're having a Minecraft event soon, so we won't be having everyone design stuff, but we'll print stuff for everyone to paint. We did cookie cutters. We let everyone design their cookie cutters and print them out. We did silly bands.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, is the equipment expensive? I know it's a lot of money.
It can range from, it just depends on what brand printer you get and what kind of printer you get. My first printer was around $200.
Oh, wait, that's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, a lot of the ones in the club are around that range, but for Christmas, I got one that's maybe around $700. But it's a good
still
printer.
Not bad. I was about to say, that's good, low-key.
But they can range to $1 million. There are these cement 3D printers that are printing houses that are worth millions of dollars.
Houses?
Mm-hmm.
Each room? That's crazy. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I'm glad it's a low-key affordable price for a 3D printer.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the most exciting projects or innovations that the club has worked on recently?
Personally, I think my most excited thing that we got to work on is the silly bands I mentioned before, because we got to use this filament called TPU, and it's right here, how it bends. We were able to print whatever we decided.
Gotta show it off.
Mm-hmm.
This is nice.
His name's Benchy.
Okay, Benchy.
Without the shark features, it's a boat, and it basically shows how well a printer can print with that type of material. But we printed with this, with the bracelets, and they looked exactly like silly bands. They weren't, they they broke easily than, actual silly bands because they're not the exact same material. But personally, I think that's around my favorite, along with the cookie cutters that we got to make.
Yeah. What shapes did you do for the cookie cutters? Or what did you do?
Personally, I didn't do any cookie cutters because I usually during meetings, I run around and help everyone.
Okay.
But when I get to it, I'm very backed up on 3D prints. I'm going to do like a little pixel heart.
Ooh.
But you can also find a lot of them online that you can do if you don't want to make one.
Right. That's cool. What's the most impressive or surprising thing you've seen 3D printed?
From the club or
in general? Or both?
There's this person on YouTube. I think her name is Michaela the Engineer. She printed, SpongeBob?
Yeah.
The cockroach scene of the cockroach eating the... She made a life-size version of it and brought it to the Kids' Choice Awards for a photo op. And she made a whole video. I think...
That's insane.
That's like the level of unhingedness I want to get with 3D printing. I love it so much.
So, well, compared to life-size cockroaches from SpongeBob, what have you seen done in, like, your actual club?
In our club, I see a lot of stuff. My, our head of our tech, what's the word? I'm blanking on the name of their tech. I'll just say my friend Greg.
Mm-hmm.
He's printing this like entire gear mechanism to do what? I have no idea because he hasn't finished it yet. But he showed me the rough drafts of it, and it looks pretty cool.
That's cool. Do you think 3D printing could eventually become a mainstream part of everyday life?
Oh, yeah. I've seen so many news articles talking about a whole bunch of experiments. Like I mentioned before, there's the printers printing with cement to make houses. There are printers that are going to go up in space and print like hearts and stuff and bring them down to put in bodies. Food 3D printers. We actually saw one of those. It's a chocolate 3D printer.
Wow.
That's a thing now. Just generally printing anything you need around the house. I read something about medicine 3D printers that can 3D print medicine and distribute it. So it's similar to a pharmacy,
Right.
but can like help with overdose and just supply chains and whatnot. I think I'm most excited for the chocolate 3D printer to be.
Yeah, I was about to say, I love a nice little chocolate, some food.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So what would you say are some of the most interesting developments or trends in 3D printing technology right now? Well, I guess you kind of already said some, but...
Yeah. Well, one of them that I didn't mention is that the club is actually making, and they put me in charge of it for some reason. We're making a machine that turns plastic bottles into filament to use.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So we can...
Good. Recycling for real.
Absolutely. That's our number one goal, because usually you have to admit 3D printing creates a lot of waste. Mm-hmm. And there are some companies that are making it, more biodegradable. Right. But if we make this machine and we have our own supply of bottles to turn into filament, we can actually help cut down with waste.
And you're saving money, which has been very important. What are some things that you would love for students to know about your club and getting involved?
We are not just engineering. There are so many. Please. And you do not have to have any experience. We will teach you everything. We love teaching new people everything about the club. And if you want to be a technician and help with the 3D printers, you 100% can. You don't have to have any experience. We will teach you everything. And Onshape is free.
Free.
Y'all
heard her. Okay, one last question. Well, before actually, can you explain some of the stuff down here?
Yeah.
She made some stuff, y'all.
So I didn't make it. I just stole it from the club.
Oh, well, they made some stuff.
So this is Benchy, I mentioned before. He kind of helps us determine the quality of our filament. Mm-hmm. And you can tell that by all these overhangs, just to know how good it is. Because a lot of this stuff, if the 3D printer isn't good, you have to use these things called supports, and that creates more waste. This is another thing similar to this. It's a calibration cube, just to see how well the printer is again, and we run these a lot if we have to fix a 3D printer. This is a lithophane. We did a whole workshop on this. I begged the club, we got to do lithophanes. And the way they work is we put them through a system of the photos, and they print it layer by layer. And the way the sun reflects into it will create an image. You can kind of see it.
Yeah. Wait, that's so cute.
And you can make nightlights out of it and stuff. And then these are our capybaras. These guys are articulated. They're adorable. I love them so much.
No, they are cute.
And these two are made from a silk gold PLA. So they're nice and shiny. And this one is a wood PLA, which I believe 25% made of wood. Wow. So if you feel it, you can actually it kind of feels like wood.
It does. Mm-hmm. These are so cute.
And it smells like wood burning when they're printing.
Oh.
Maybe they do. I never tested it.
No, it doesn't smell like anything. That's so cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, and for my final question, have you ever tried to 3D print your face?
I can't say I have. Our last president, Ryan, he did. The way you do that is you have to have a 3D scanner, which we don't have a big enough scanner for that. Except you could use your phone, but I don't know. I feel it would be very creepy to scan my face and print it out.
Have you ever thought about it, though?
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Okay, all right, Mackenzie. It's time to have some fun. We have a this or that 3D printing edition. We are going to ask you to answer a series of questions by choosing which you prefer. Mm-hmm. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Designing for aesthetic or designing for functionality?
Personally, I like aesthetic a lot better because I do a lot more designing like with Nomad Sculpt, which is like more with clay. So I say aesthetics.
Cool. Traditional 3D printing materials or experimental materials?
I say experimental because of the plastic bottle machine. I can't wait to print with that.
So like with traditional 3D printing materials, what's that like? Like just regular like?
Yeah, like all of these. Okay. Anything that's like made by a factory and a company that's going to sell them out with different colors and textures and whatnot. That's I consider traditional. Also, there's resin printing, and it sounds like what it is, except instead of plastic, it's resin, and it's actually very dangerous because resin is very dangerous. If you're resin printing, always have some sort of precaution, wear a mask, open the windows. It can cause serious respiratory problems, and that's why we don't have any resin for the printers yet.
I didn't know that. Okay. Stay away from those. Sorry. No, it's fine. Working in a group project or a personal project?
I've always struggled with group projects. So I have to say personal. Like, I'll get, like, feedback, but that's as far as it'll go. Yeah.
No, I'm the same way. Sometimes groups could be be more challenging than helpful. Mm-hmm. Printing something useful or something just for fun?
I like printing stuff that's useful because I say, like, in the long run, all the stuff I 3D printed is somewhat useful in a way. Like, I made these face shields during the pandemic to help healthcare workers, and I donated a whole bunch of them. And I say that's pretty useful. Yeah. So, yeah, useful.
Working on a long-term project or a quick spontaneous print?
Long-term. It just pays off so much better when everything is complete. It's so nice.
What's one of like your long-term projects that you worked on?
Oh my gosh. I think right now I made so I do a lot of cosplay and you know Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier,
of course.
Avengers.
Yes.
I decided to cosplay him, and of course you need his arm. So I printed out his full armor, and it took forever because I also had to paint it, combine it, everything.
Wow. Should have brought that in.
It's at home, and it's drying. So.
Okay. I forgot you say you're still actively working on it.
It's almost done, but I don't know.
That's going to pay off.
I hope so.
And get the wig and everything.
Nah, not the wig. My hair is kind of very similar to his, I feel. So I'm not going to go that accurate.
Okay.
But
I mean, the arm is enough. That's crazy. Wow. Okay, Mackenzie, do you have any final thoughts before we let you go about your club? Do you want to, what's the Instagram and all that stuff?
Our Instagram is, I don't use it. I'm not in charge of the Instagram.
It's okay.
It's not on me. I think if you just look up Rowan 3D Printing Club on Instagram, you'll find us. We also have a Discord. That's where you'll get everything about our club, along with the print queue. That's where I forgot to mention, if you join our club, you get to print anything you want. Not everything you want. It has to be under some strict guidelines, but we'll print your stuff out for free.
For free. Free.
Very important nowadays, isn't it?
Yes. So, how would one get active with your club?
They're meeting right now, I believe, actually. Oh? They're designing little go-karts to race down a ramp, and the competition will be our next meeting, where we'll race them down. And then after that will be our Minecraft event.
Okay. So check out the Discord and check out the Instagram for sure to get active with the 3D Printing Club here at Rowan University. Okay. Thank you all so much for joining us on the 9th episode of ClubChat. We can't wait to meet more clubs on campus. If you are interested, check out our show notes and a link in the Instagram bio to sign up today. See you next time.
Bye. Oh, here. Bye.